Hello, welcome to this video where we're going to open up and review this Delonghi milk frother. I'd recommend that you look in the manual and step-by-step instruction on how to tear it down and rebuild it if it is in there. If not, watch this video on how I've done it. I'd definitely recommend it. If you look at the back end of this video, we've had this machine probably less than a year and it's quite gunked up and pretty horrible inside. Certainly don't recall reading anything to deep clean it as much as is probably necessary. The design of it's really quite poor in my opinion. I've got a bit of a background in the food production industry around machinery, and any sort of person related to hygiene will tell you it's not a great design at all. There's too many small intricate parts that just need cleaning, and on such a regular basis, especially with the likes of milk product that's got obviously quite a lot of protein and other bits. I mean, we use oat milk predominantly now, but it's still pretty disgusting. So here we've got most of the parts laid out that you'll come across once you do fully open it up and take it apart. Looks a bit daunting from this picture, but it's actually quite simple once you play around with it and put it back together. Fully recommend using a knife just to take it apart to start with. You've got a couple of lugs on the longer edges. There's 4 of these in each sort of corner, and then the piece at the back end, sort of a ring, that's got another little lug on it as well, which you'll need to open up, which you'll see in a short second. Just say, remember, it's all plastic, so don't force it too much. If it's not going to go, it's just going to snap. So this is the main selector piece that I've just taken out now, that then goes into the frothing arm into the cup, basically. So that's that taken apart. Then you've got the selector on top, which has got a magnet which tells the machine when to clean. Basically just hit a switch inside the machine. This bit you just lift up. It's got, you'll see 3 smaller lugs. There's one longer lug that you don't need to pick up, but you'll see here that just prise it up with a finger. It's quite simple. So it's quite important to get this open just so you can get a bit deeper into this section to clean it. Comes apart and goes together really quite easily, but it's important to remember the position of the magnet there that you can just see sticking out. Show you that in a little bit more detail here. This is actually putting it back together. This isn't how you put it back together, but I just wanted to show you where the magnet should be. So in the current position, that's probably around the low point. Then when we put it back together, you want the magnet in the insert position. It's quite important that you do that when you click the thing back together, so you can put the selector switch back on top. So see here, I moved the magnet right down to the bottom there. That's now in the insert position. So that's where you want it when you're going to be putting it all back together later. And then once you have got it all back, you'll put this in the insert, click it down, and then it'll go into be fully back together. And you'll see as you switch it round, this is just opening up a valve inside, basically just to allow more air and milk mixture, just to add more or less froth. Then you see the magnet just moving around there, and at that position it will now be in clean. There'll be a little switch inside the machine that it just connects to, just to tell it to flush it with water basically just through that tube and inside. But yeah, it's really not a deep clean at all. It goes through the parts where the milk naturally goes through. But as you can see, there's a lot of voids and open spaces where the milk will go to as you move it about from fridge to machine. And yeah, it's really quite disgusting at the end. It could be a lot worse, I guess. But to put it back together, so you're just going to locate this bit in the bottom housing. You see where all the holes are, where it allows air and bit through. So you'll notice at this point there's a hole in the bottom here. That will be for this that ring of the top bit. Got a little bit of a lug on it, that'll go back into there. This bit's quite important to note which way around the milk frothing arm is, which goes into your cup. So you've got to remember that you're almost working upside down here, so those holes are on the bottom. You've got the this piece that goes on. Would recommend using a food grade lubricant or grease to put these back together wherever you've got O-rings and any tight fittings like that. Again, important to note which way around that is. So all you're going to do is hold all the assembly that you've put in place. This goes into the side and then it's going to connect into that middle piece, and that will click in quite nicely. Then that's all assembled back together. So you're now ready for the top bit. Again, remember where that magnet needs to be. It needs to be, as you saw previously, on the left-hand side of this. This is quite a tricky bit to do. I've not found a decent way to do this, but essentially, getting that ring over the end there. I think that's probably the best way. Getting it round and then located into that hole, and then you're just going to push the rest of the assembly down to get those 4 lugs on the outer piece on the longer edge. And then once that's all back together, just click it down, and you'll be able to get the milk selector back into position. And after that, you can rebuild the components back together. Particularly sure if that straw needs to be a certain way around. I know it's got holes in it, but essentially all it's doing is bringing in a mixture of milk and air, depending on where that valve's turned to. Have a certain set ratio, but again, I haven't read anything that's specific to what position it needs to be in. So you'll probably notice on your machine you'll have scale and other bits which you can see, and then when you're cleaning it out, I'm sure you've probably seen some element of dirt, especially in the bottom of the milk frothing tank. But yeah, once you do open this up for the first time, this is probably what you'll be greeted with. So I just soaked it in some water with soap, and this is basically what started to come out of the machine, and especially around those holes at the bottom, but very much in the intricate parts which we've taken apart. It's pretty disgusting. Like I say, we've had this less than a year, and we did start off with semi-skimmed milk, but we've moved to oat milk for the past couple of months anyway. But it's not going to be great consuming that, and you'll probably notice that your frothing is not as good. I just used a toothbrush and the small pipe cleaner. Thanks for watching.